Good morning. Welcome. It's so nice to be here today and the beautiful sunshine outside. Happy to be with my family. I'm going to cover a couple of things before we start, and that is if you're here for the first time, in the foyer there are some welcome packets. I'll tell you a little bit more about our center here. On the back table, we have prayer request forms. We love to pray here. And so if you have anything heavy on your heart or anything you'd like us to celebrate with you, if you fill out that prayer request form and put it in the prayer box, Reverend Yvonne and I will pray with you and for you all week. So please feel free to fill one out and know that we're there for you. So again, I want to welcome everyone, and it's at this point in our service that we bless our children, and we bless the child within each and every one of us. So if you would join me in this blessing of the children. We see you, who you really are, made in the image and likeness of God. We cherish you, we support you, and we love you. So I'd like to move into prayer now, and I'd like to share with you a prayer for world peace by Ernest Holmes. I know there is but one mind, which is the mind of God, in which all people live and move and have their being. I know there is a divine pattern for humanity, and within this pattern there is infinite harmony and peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness. I know that the mind of man, being one with the mind of God, shall discover the method, the way, and the means best fitted to permit the flow of divine love between individuals and nations. This harmony, peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness will be experienced by all. I know there shall be a free interchange of ideas, of cultures, of spiritual concepts, of ethics, of educational systems, scientific discoveries, for all good belongs to all alike. Thank you. I know that because the divine mind has created us all, we are bound together in one infinite and perfect unity. In bringing about world peace, I know that all people and all nations will remain individual but unified for the common purpose of promoting peace, happiness, harmony, and prosperity. I know that deep within every person, the divine pattern of perfect peace is already implanted. I now declare that in each person and in leaders of thought everywhere, this divine pattern moves into action and form, to the end that all nations and all people shall live together in peace, harmony, and prosperity forever. And so it is. My scripture opening music.
There's a power for good in the universe. You can use it.
You can use it. Yes, you can use
There's
it.
a power for good in the universe. You can use it.
You can use it. Yes, you can use
There's
it.
a power for good in the universe. You can use it. universe, and you can use it.
You can use it. Yes, you can use it.
There's a powerful love in the universe, and you can use it.
You can use it. Yes, you can use
There's
it.
a powerful love in the universe, and you can use it. There's a powerful good in the universe, and you can use it.
You can use it. Yes, you can use it.
There's a powerful good in the universe, and you can use it.
You can use it. Yes, you can use it.
There's a powerful good in the universe, and you can use it. There's a powerful good in the universe, and you can use it. There's a powerful good in the universe, and you can use it.
Aren't they fantastic? And they even go with me when I throw the order of service off. So I'd like to ask you please now to join me in our opening prayer. Sweet, sweet Spirit, Father, Mother, God, that divine and holy essence in which we live and breathe and have our being. God, the good, omnipotent. I know there is only one life, one power, one presence. I call it God. It is health and wholeness. It is peace and love. It is joy and abundance. There is absolutely nothing outside of God, and we are one with it. One with the one with joy, one with health and wholeness, one with love. And so as I speak my word this day, I speak it knowing truly that as we move through the ensuing week, we move through it joyfully, easily, and effortlessly. I know that each and every person with whom we interact is a child of the divine, and the God in me sees and salutes the God in them, and I call that good and very good. I know that we embrace our wholeness, our oneness, and we express the love, which is the truth of who we are, and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for the light and the love and the peace and the joy that is ours this day as we open our hearts and our minds to receive that good. I release this word now to the perfect working of the perfect law, which always, always, and only says yes. Please join me in affirming, and so it is.
There's a powerful good in the universe. You can use it.
You can use it. Yes, you can use it.
There's a powerful good in the universe. You can use it.
You can use it. Yes, you can use it.
There's a powerful good in the universe. You can use it.
Hold on. Hold on. Thank you very much. Okay, let's try this one more time and we'll join them, okay? And what I want you all to say, is there's a power for good in the universe and I can use it. I. Take it in personally. Take it in personally. Okay, let's go.
There's a powerful good in the universe, and I can use it.
I can use it. Yes, I can use
There's
it.
a powerful good in the universe, and I can use it.
I can use it. Yes, I can use
There's
it.
a powerful good in the universe, and I can use it.
Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we need to do this only because we're the only one that can give ourselves permission to have that awareness of the power that is within us, that is part of the power of the universe. So here we are. We need to claim it ourselves. Yeah. Otherwise, you know what happens to us? We can bore ourselves to death. And we can bore ourselves to death. I just discovered this. This is the most incredible discovery I've had in the last few weeks. I thought I was bored with what was going on in my life. And what I realized is I am bored with myself. I'm bored with all the excuses I have used for all the things that either haven't happened in my life or the things that have happened in my life. I am bored with those excuses. So this is a fresh idea for me. It's not that I'm bored with my job or I'm bored with my community or I'm bored with my family. I am bored with the excuses I've used that have kept me from experiencing what I've said was my passion to experience. And you know what those, maybe I'm the only one, but you know what excuses can look like. My favorite one is, I really don't have the time to do that. This is not the right time to do that. I don't want to take the time to do that. Those are my excuses. So I'm looking at myself this week and I'm like, oh my gosh, you bore yourself with all your excuses. So give it up, Yvonne. Give it up. Okay, that's what I wanted to share with you this morning. Because I'm reading this book and I'm loving this book and teaching from it. And it's called The 5 Invitations. It's by Frank Ostaseski. That's, if that isn't how he pronounces it, that's how he should, right? No. Anyway, it's a wonderful book, and this man is, I mentioned last week, is the co-founder of the Zen Hospice Project in San Francisco, and for years and years and years, he has sat at the bedside of people who are moving into death. And what he shares with us in this book is so incredible because it's all the insights that he has gotten that will guide us, that can guide us into more meaningful and loving lives. Guide us into more meaningful and loving lives before we get to the end, before we have the regrets, before we are in that space of feeling totally unloved or whatever it is that we can take to the end of our life if we aren't aware of who we are and what we can do as we're living in the moment, as we're living day to day. Last week, the first chapter was about what was it about? Okay, don't wait. It was about don't wait. And don't wait is two sides to the same coin. One thing is don't wait to let go of things you don't want to carry with you. Don't wait to stop doing the things that you'd rather not do. Don't wait. Consider it at least. The other part of that coin is don't wait to experience your good. Don't wait to accept your good. Don't wait to take that rest or that pause and live in the moment. So we had last week, it was just like, don't wait. That was the big thing. Don't wait. Because everything is impermanent. We know that. We know that. Life is impermanent. Everything we deal with around it is impermanent. So with this impermanence and the idea of don't wait, then this week we move into his next invitation is don't push nothing away. Push nothing away. Well, I got to chew on that this week because I can go along with pushing away things I don't care to have and wanting to hold on to things that I do want and like and desire, but not everything. But what he's giving us is the idea that we can move into it. We have to start wherever we are in whatever we're starting to do, right? So that's where what we will talk about today. Don't wait or push nothing away involves 4 things that we look at. And the first one is recognition. We have to recognize, and now I'm talking about something that we really don't want in front of us, because that's what we tend to try and either ignore or deny or sidestep sometimes, or it can overwhelm us to the point we're almost immobilized. So the first thing we have to do is recognize there's something in front of us. And then here's the key for me. Acknowledge what it is. Just what it is. Not how it's affecting you. Not how bad you think it can get. Not how hurt you are by it, but acknowledging what it is. So first we recognize there's something in front of us, something that we're up against, some challenge, whatever it is, and then we acknowledge what it is. We just name it. We name it. We say what it is. And then the next step is to be with what is. Let's take a breath around that. Be with what is. So being with what is brings us into the present moment. Makes us present to the moment. It doesn't require us to resign ourselves to what is. It doesn't require us to approve of it or want more of it. It simply means we are recognizing what it is, what we've named it, and that it is right in front of us. And then we have the next step, which means let's just say this. We can be masters of manipulation in trying to get around that, or trying to ignore that, or trying to deny that it's there, or trying to even just letting it be something that's really, really not bothering us when inside it is tearing us up. But we'll act like it's not, right? That's how we deceive ourselves sometimes around stuff that's in front of us. Because what happens if we don't push out, if we push nothing away, then it means we have to step into that pain, step into that unknown, step into that stuff that we're trying to avoid. But that's how we will heal from it. That's how we will move through it. That's how we'll be able to glean this power in the universe that's for us, that will strengthen us, enable us to face and move through things that are challenging to us. So rather than protect ourselves from discomfort and get temporary relief, which we can do, we want to be the power in the moment as we acknowledge it, as we recognize it, or as we recognize it and acknowledge it, and we're going to be with it for that moment because we are at choice and we are able to do that. We are able to do that. There are some things that we couldn't do anything else except be in shock when they're right in front of us. I know that. We all know that. But we can still take that breath and recognize what it is that is shocking us and acknowledge what it is. We'll name it. This is pain. This is whatever it is. And so not trying to substitute anything else for what's in front of us is very key for us. Let's not pretend it's something else. Let's not try to create a quick fix for it, because when we do that, when we try and have a short-term fix for something, or when we're in denial, what it does is it creates a long-term habit within us that is self-deceiving. It's just a long-term habit that we will use for that short fix. And it usually has negative consequences because we haven't changed anything. We've just avoided it for a short time. And that is what creates the pain and suffering. That's one of the things that can create the pain and suffering that we experience, because we haven't moved into it. We've avoided it and moved around it. So we know that everyone experiences pain throughout their lifetime, whether it's physical or if it's a loss, whatever it is. But we can use these insights to embrace, to face, to acknowledge, to name what is going on in our lives, what's showing up in our lives. And what we know about pain, too, is it isn't like we'll always avoid pain, but pain can motivate us into action. You think about putting your fingers in the fire. If there wasn't discomfort, you'd leave your fingers there possibly and get burned, right? So pain can move us into the action we need to take. But we also know that pain that is resisted equals suffering. Pain that's resisted equals suffering. And suffering is exacerbated by avoidance. So it just compounds itself within us. And our bodies suffer. Our bodies suffer for the pain that we haven't digested. If it's undigested pain within us, and you know how it's there and it's undigested, it's when we deny it. When we pretend like it didn't bother us, or when we sit in that pain and keep living from the pain. Instead of living and having experienced that, we live in the pain. It's things we have to look at, how we're addressing what we're experiencing right in front of us. So again, acceptance of it does not require agreement with it. We just accept that it actually is. We're not in agreement that it should be. We're not in agreement that we should have that much pain, suffering. We are only in agreement or acceptance that it is what it is right now. It is what it is in front of us. So we want our eyes to be open. They must be open for us to see what it is. And without open eyes to see what it is, that means with acknowledgement, we can't make a change to it. So we don't want to avoid it because then we'll have to endure it. If we avoid what is in front of us, we'll have to endure it. And then what happens? Many times we become resentful. We swallow it. And then we become resentful. And then the anger comes out sideways, or the resentment comes out sideways. Or we become victims to it. Not even to what happened, but victims to the pain or the suffering. We become victims to it. And therefore, we are shutting down our ability to use the power within us that is available through us to live that meaningful and loving life that we are here to live. So we know that terrible things happen in life. We know that. And sometimes I've heard people, especially when they've heard about a terrible event, they'll say, oh, I couldn't bear I couldn't bear that. I couldn't live through it. That's not true. That's not true. There are many of us who've lived through things that we never imagined could happen to us, much less that we would live through it. You see, and that's what we have in common with is suffering. We have suffering is what connects us, or we have in common with humanity, because there's suffering all over. There's pain that many people experience that is ongoing. So that is a connection we have, but it's also something that we can support each other through the suffering of loss and pain. But we don't want to remain in it. We want to go through it. So we must see things as they actually are and act accordingly with wise discernment and from love. We can interrupt the habit of resistance to looking at our pain and dealing with what's in front of us. We can interrupt that habit, and we must, or it'll harden us, and we then become more, I believe, resentful and angry or despondent. It has a negative effect on us. So again, suffering is the common ground of mankind, and turning towards our suffering, as I said earlier, does take us into pain, does take us into the fear and the sadness that we really would like to not experience. But we will experience it if we experience it to a greater degree for a longer time, if we ignore it, if we don't deal with it. We want to live in the freedom of love. We want to live in that energy that is being consumed or has been consumed by pain and rejection and all of that. We want to live in that energy in the fullness of life. We don't want our lives to be eaten up, the time of our lives to be eaten up the energy eaten up by the things that we don't want because we've resisted them. And therefore, when we resist them, we've given them our energy and our focus, right? So there's this, we can approach it, pushing nothing away as an as-is approach. And as-is means this is the way it is. This is the way it is. Ram Dass wrote a book many, many years ago, and I love the title of it, was Be Here Now. Later we had The Power of Now, but I loved it, Be Here Now. And that's what we're talking about. Be here, be in your here now. So that we will experience pain and suffering in the now, but we will move through it as we keep our eyes open, and we're available to that now. We also are in the field of options. We have options in the now. Regardless of what is here, we have options. And the options are for new ideas and new possibility and new tools that we can use, new things that we can learn about that successfully carry us forward. And one of the easiest things, or one of the most profound things maybe, I learned was response versus reaction. Response, chosen. Reaction, automatic. And I can have a reaction, which is just natural for us many times, and then choose the response to take forward. Choose the response you want to take forward because you have been available. You are available to the now. So when whatever's in front of us takes our breath away, and that is a reaction to it, then we have the response. It's the second breath that you'll use the choice in. The true nature of life is that we can live in this world of constant change that is not always what we'd like to see in front of, that is not showing us what we'd like to see in front of us, but we can live with what isn't what we want to see with more ease. And the ease means we are consciously making conscious choices of how to bring about what it is we do choose. We don't just go off like wild people responding to wild things if we have the opportunity to make a conscious choice. Now, you see a car wreck out there and you stop really quickly. You might move in very, very quickly to help. I'm not talking about we don't respond in that way. What I'm talking about is normally what we see in front of us is not that drastic, but it certainly is often. It can be often. So what we see in front of us, we want to be able to not push it away, but deal with it from a place of having power within us to make a decision, to make a choice, to move forward with a grace and ease that contributes to a good, that contributes to a solution, that contributes to a new way of being. This is really about us living our most meaningful, loving life, and it's going to require us saying yes. Yes to the hard things and the things that take a lot of courage and support, as well as the good things that just bring us what we want. And it takes our saying yes to the difficult, because that's what life brings. Many times life just throws this stuff in front of you, in front of us. I said last week, it just really messes with my best laid plans. Life does. And it brings me stuff that I wasn't looking for. But what is it that's within us? Ernest Holmes said that we are the expression of God in form. And my friend said to me just recently, she said, as much confidence as you have in God is the same amount you'll have in yourself. I said, don't you mean as much confidence as I have in myself, I'll have in God. And she said, what's the difference? Yeah, what's the difference? Well, so the power we have is the power of love. Love is the source. That is, if God is all there is, then God is love. God is love. God created all that is out of love, out of itself. And then, therefore, if we are specks of the divine, or magnificent beings of the divine, then we are love also. Whether we act in a loving way, or whether we even know that we're loved and precious and so beautiful, doesn't change that fact. Not in the least. And if we think we know people that are unlovable, what we know is we might not have had the experience of it because maybe they don't know they're lovable and that they're loved and that they are a center of love. Because there can't be two different things in God if God is all there is. We can't be different. How we choose to act, how we choose to live, what we choose to express, it's all up to us, but it comes from that same source. So the quote from this book says, one of love's most exquisite capabilities is its ability to embrace whatever it comes into contact with, even if at first glance the situation, the experience, or the person seems unlovable. Love is not a gated community. Everyone and every part of ourselves is welcome in love. Or as they say in Zen, no part left out. So when we become open, we must become open and receptive to that greater force, that greater source, that greater energy, that greater power that is not only out here in the universe but within us. We must be open and receptive to what, not only knowing it, because it isn't about being receptive to receive it, because it's there for you and it's there within you. So it isn't like we're going to do something really great and get it. Or it isn't like we know that someone else doesn't have it because of blah, whatever we think the reason is. It is there and it is within us. And when we acknowledge that, when we recognize that, when we know that, what we also know is that love leaves nothing out. Love leaves no one out. So that brings me back to why we would push nothing away. Bring it into the embrace of love. I had an absolute experience of that one time when I was at a 12-step meeting. And there was someone there I thought shouldn't be there. Who was I to decide that? But that was what happened. So I said something to another person. And this was the most beautiful thing said to me. Everyone is welcome. You were welcome. And she's welcome. Yeah. It was, my mother would have said I was on my high horse at that time. But I use that, and I use that in my mind because from that time forth, I thought it grew and it evolved. My wisdom grows and evolves. I didn't have it that day, but the seed was started that we're all part of the one. So it isn't about what we do or haven't done. It isn't about what we believe about what we've done or haven't done. We can't change that. So that power that's available is not limited. That grace that's available to us, as us, through us, for us, is not conditional. It's there. We are so free to pick up our mantle of love. Again, it's about knowing that we are lovable, we are precious, that we are whole, and that we are worthy of every bit of good that we're willing to experience, harming no one else. Our mission statement here at Center for Spiritual Living is, we are a loving presence, providing an environment for individual spiritual growth and prosperity. We do this better for our community, for our families, when we do it for ourselves first. Or along the way, but do it for ourselves. What we become, we can share. It won't tire us out. It won't wear us out. It won't wear us down when we share from that place of knowing. When we share from that place of trust. When we know that it's truth and we're part of it. So there's a little story that he used in his book I'm going to close with, and it's a true story. He said that his daughter loves to go to consignment shops to look for vintage clothing. And he said, here's the deal. And he goes with her. He loves it. He goes with her, and he said, every once in a while they'll find a piece of clothing that she'll want, and it'll have a tag on it. And the tag will say, as is. And the as is, maybe there's a little button missing, or there's a little stain on it, or there might be a little tear in it, but it tells you exactly what you're dealing with. And that's the idea of being able to acknowledge what's in front of us, to recognize it and acknowledge what it is. We're saying, and then being with it as is. My life right now and the experience I'm having is this, and I see it as it is. We should even go out with little tags on our fingers, as is. A little overweight, a little older, a little under whatever. Don't cook, hate to clean, as is. Great reader. So let's just take a breath and move into that inner sanctuary, where as is the perfect place and the perfect essence of love. So as we go into our week, whether we choose to look at things that we want to change by not pushing away, by not waiting, may we find within ourselves the ease and the harmony to move into that. Maybe it's mending relationships. Maybe it's giving ourselves more time for rest and joy. Or maybe it's a complete shift into something new that we would rather be doing and that we've put off. Or maybe it's just looking into your partner's eyes and seeing yourself, the beloved, because that's what our partners reflect back to us so often. And then say the words that we might not have said. Let them know on a daily basis, if you would choose to, how much they are loved and appreciated. How delighted we are in them. Because it's so easy to make the list of what isn't up to our standards and expectations. Whether it's a partner or in business or even the clerk in the store, we can walk into that store and we've got an attitude that we are supporting that's already within us. And is it in gratitude? Just not necessarily for a person or thing at the moment, but just grateful for life. Or are we walking in there and I better be able to get what I need and get out of there in 2 minutes because I've got other things to do? We are at choice. So in order to be present to the life you are experiencing in this moment, we have to choose that. We have to choose to be present. And so I do some little tricks. I trick myself many times. And when it snowed unexpectedly, to me it was unexpected this week, I called it white rain because we needed rain. We need rain. So I called it white rain, and it just delighted me. You see, we are the governor. We are the governor of our souls. We are the power point, and we are the creator of the PowerPoint called life. So as we move into our week, may we hold the energy of we are the expressions of love. And love empowers us. And love heals us. And love gives of itself without attachment, without expectations. And are we willing to move deeper into that? Oh, we are all at choice. We are all the children of the living God. We are all free will expressions of God. And so calling this good and very good, I allow Spirit to be me in any form, in any way, in any expression, as long as it delights me in this day. I call this really good. And so it is. Amen. Okay, thank you.
Open my eyes, let in the light again. Open my eyes, let in the light again. Open my eyes, let in the light again. Open my eyes, fill them with joy again. Heal my heart, let me begin again. Heal my heart, let me begin again. Open my eyes, open my eyes again. Open my eyes, open my eyes. Take a deep breath, breathe the strength again. Take a deep breath, breathe in the strength again. Take a deep breath, breathe in the strength again. Take a deep breath, breathe in the strength again. Open my eyes. Open my eyes again. Open my eyes. Open my eyes again. Open my eyes. Open my eyes again. Open my eyes. Open my eyes. Heal my heart. Let me begin again. Heal my heart. Let me begin again. Open my eyes. Open my eyes again. Open my eyes. Open my eyes.
So Dawn and Red Star and Laura and Jamila and Audie, once again, I get to thank you for sharing your gift with us. It was beautiful. Thank you. So we've come to that time in our service where we get to put into practice the law of circulation. For those of us who are here in the sanctuary, there's a basket on the back table. For those of you who are joining us online, there is a place on our website where you can contribute if you choose to. So I'd like to ask you now to please join me in this prayer of spiritual giving and receiving. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is. So I want to thank everyone who's joined us this week. We love you and we appreciate you, and we hope you come back and join us again next week. We love you and thank you.